Okay, good morning and welcome back to day 19 of 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens. Yesterday we talked about the 4 quadrants of important and urgent things and people. So, the time quadrants here, and we said that if you are an important and urgent person, you are the procrastinator. If you are not important and urgent, you are the yes man. The not important and not urgent person is the slacker, and the prioritizer is the person who does important things first and doesn't get in a rush about them. Okay, so I asked you yesterday to draw out this little chart, to add to it if you could, and to um, determine which quadrant you fall in the most. So hopefully you all were able to do that. And now let's look at today's lesson. Okay. Nope, I skipped it. Let's skip it. It starts right there. Okay. So, in which quadrant are you spending the majority of your time? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Since in reality we all spend time in each quadrant, the key is to shift as much time as possible to Q2. And the only way you'll find more time for Q2 is to reduce the amount of time you spend in the other quadrants. Here is how to do that. Shrink Q1 by procrastinating less. You're always going to have lots to do in Q1. That's guaranteed. But if you can cut your procrastination in half by doing important things early, you'll be in Q1 far less often. And less Q1 times means less stress. Say no to Q3 activities. Learn to say no to unimportant things that pull you away from more important ones. Don't be so interruptible. Trying to please everyone is like a dog trying to catch its tail. Remember, when you're saying no, you're really saying yes to more important things. Cut down on Q4, slacker activities. Don't stop doing these things, just do them less often. You don't have time to waste. Shift this time to Q2. You need to relax and kick back, but remember, relaxation is Q2. Excessive relaxation is Q4. In addition to spending more time in Q2, consider 2 other suggestions to help you better manage your time and put first things first. Start a calendar and plan weekly. So, get a planner. To start with, I highly recommend getting a planner or a calendar on your computer, phone, on paper, whatever works. Excuse me. Oh. Just somewhere with space to write down appointments, to-do lists, and goals. There's some great apps for calendars, or if you want, you can buy a paper planner or make your own out of a spiral-bound notebook. Some of you might be thinking, I don't want my life to be tied to a planner. I like my freedom. If this is you, keep in mind that a planner wasn't designed to tie you down, but to free you up. With a planner, you'll no longer have to worry about forgetting things or double booking yourself. It will remind you when your papers are due and tests are to be taken. You can keep all of your important information in one place instead of scattered all over. A planner is not meant to be your master, but a tool to help you live your life. So, Plan weekly. Take a few minutes each week to plan your week and see what a difference it can make. Why weekly? Because we think in weeks and because daily planning is too narrow a focus and monthly planning is too broad a focus. Once you have a planner of some sort, follow this 3 step planning process. Step 1: identify your big rocks. At the end or beginning of each week, sit down and think about what you want to accomplish for the upcoming week. Ask yourself, what are the most important things I need to do this week? I call these your big rocks. They are sort of like mini goals and should be tied into your mission statement and longer term goals. Not surprisingly, you'll find that most of them will be Q2s. You might come up with a list of big rocks that looks something like this. My big rocks for the week: study for chemistry test, finish The Great Gatsby for English, attend Carly's game, finish summer job applications, party at Angeli's, work out 3 times. So, how do you know which are your big rocks? Well, think through the key roles of your life: student, friend, family member, employee, individual, and whatever else you do, and then come up with the 1 or 2 most important things you want to get done in each role. Planning your life around roles majorly helps you stay balanced. Role could be student, and your big rock for the week is to get started on your history report. Role as friend, Julio's birthday, be more complimentary. Role as family, get Mother's Day gift at the mall, call grandma. Role for job, get to work on time. Role for me, go to Jaden's gig, write and journal every night. And role for debate team, research arguments, practice openings. Don't get carried away when you're identifying your big rocks for the week. Although you may feel you have 40 big rocks that must get done, be realistic and narrow your focus to no more than 7 to 10. Step 2: block out time for your big rocks. Do you know the Big Rock experiment? You get a bucket and fill it half full of small pebbles. Then you try to put several big rocks in the bucket on top of the pebbles, but they don't all fit. So you empty the bucket and start over. This time, you put the big rocks in the bucket first, followed by the pebbles. The pebbles neatly fill in the spaces around the big rocks. And this time, it all fits. The difference is the order in which the rocks and pebbles were placed in the bucket. If you put the pebbles in first, the big rocks don't all fit. But if you put the big rocks in first, everything fits: big rocks and pebbles. Big rocks represent your most important things. Pebbles represent all the little everyday things that suck up your time, such as chores, texting, errands, and interruptions, etc. Moral of the story: if you don't schedule your big rocks first, they won't get done. During your weekly planning, block out time for your big rocks by putting them in your calendar. For example, you might decide that the best time to get started on your history report is Tuesday night, and the best time to call your grandma is Sunday afternoon. Now, block out those times. It's like making a reservation. If your big rock, such as give out 3 compliments each day this week, doesn't have a specific time attached to it, write it somewhere in your planner where it can be seen. If you block out time for your big rocks first, the other everyday activities will fit in as well. And if they don't, who cares? You'd rather push aside pebbles than big rocks. Take care of them next week. Step 3: schedule everything else. Once you have your big rocks booked, schedule in all of your other little to-dos. daily tasks, and appointments. Here's where the pebbles go. Take note of upcoming events and activities like a vacation, a friend's concert, or a birthday. And adapt daily. You'll probably need to rearrange some big rocks and pebbles now and then, so adapt each day as needed. Try your best to follow your plan. But if you don't accomplish everything you set out to do, no big deal. Even if you only get a third of your big rocks accomplished, that's a third more than you might have accomplished without planning ahead. If this weekly planning method feels too rigid or complicated, don't scrap it entirely. Just do weekly planning light. For example, you may find you only want to schedule 2 or 3 big rocks for the week, and that's about it. The point is, the simple act of planning ahead each week will help you focus on your big rocks and consequently accomplish so much more. So now, what we're going to do is actually create a planner. So I want you to get your notebook paper or your notebook and set it up. Um, you can divide it. I like to divide mine in, oh, where'd it go? Hold on, come back here. I like to divide mine in three. Um, and but it'll probably be better to go ahead and divide it in two, um, or set it up like how this is set up right here. And I'll bring it in closer. Okay, so at the top of your paper, write down weekly goals and write down my big rocks. And then underneath that, write down what your goals and your big rocks actually are. Okay, then put the dates. You can start with the first day of the month or wherever you're at now. We're on May 13th currently, and it is Wednesday. So your first number here might be the 13th. Hopefully, you've got some ideas for your big rocks. Okay. My big rocks for the week would be um, to finish my lesson plans for summer, go to my school meeting, attend my online live tomorrow night, and make sure I'm at my appointment on time on Friday. Oh, and of course, my husband Brian's birthday is Saturday, so I cannot forget him. That would be very bad. So those are my big rocks for the week. What are your big rocks for the week? Now, once you determine what your big rocks are, go ahead and number that calendar. I'd say do fit as many days as you can. Like here, the goals are all at the top of the page, and then, or the big rocks, and then there's only 2 days listed here. And you see here how he put 1 o'clock down closer to the end of the day, like to the end of the calendar space, and put lift weights there. He did that because something else might come up that needs to go in this space that happens before 1 o'clock. And you see how science test study is at the evening every time? That's because that's the last thing he does in the day. And then over here, 7 a.m., aerobotics, aerobics. Yeah, aerobics. Sorry, my brain turned that into something that was completely different. And that happens at 7 a.m., so it's here. But then Megan's game is at 6:30 in the evening, so it's down at the bottom of the page. Okay? And then he left the 14th for his own stuff to do. And then again, back on the 15th, which is Friday, 7 a.m. aerobics, 8 p.m. party at Isabella's. Then on Saturday, he said he would complete his employment application. Okay, so hopefully you've gotten your calendar created and you are putting in your big rocks for the week. I look forward to seeing your calendars. Hope everyone has a great day. Toodle doo.